Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Style by Tay, and in today's tutorial I'll be showing you how to make this trendy and stylish bustier top with neck straps. I already have a tutorial on how to make this baggy Ankara pants, which is my last video, and I'll be leaving the link in the description box just so you can watch and make this beautiful two-piece. You can see that I styled it in various manners. It's so elegant, so cute, so chic. This is something that you're interested in. You definitely want to stick around. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe. All right, let's get started. So we're going to be starting with the front pattern, and as you can see here, I've already gone ahead to roll out my vertical lines. I have the full length of the blouse, the waist length, the under bust, the bust, and the chest line, which is also going to serve as the armhole line. From the shoulder line, I'm then going to come down by 6 inches, which is going to be the opening for my chest. You can decide to go lower than that if you want more cleavage opening. So this is going to become the new chest line. Now on each of these lines, I'm going to mark my nipple to nipple measurements divided by 2 up until the new chest line that we just created. My nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2 is 3.5. So I'm just marking it on each of the lines here, and I'm going to connect all these points that I just marked with my ruler. So on the waistline towards the center front, I went out by 0.5 inch, and on the other side towards the side front, I came out by 1.5 inch. So I'm going to mark the same measurement on the under bust line and on the full length of the blouse, and then use my ruler to draw a line on the marked points.
Been trying to change what I've been trying to say. Words don't come straight from my head to my mouth. It's such a shame that it fell out.
The next thing I want to do now is to connect my under bust to the bust point using my curve ruler. But before I do that, I'm going to extend the chest line towards the armhole area. And on the chest line, I'm going to go in and out by 0.75 inch and also connect that back to the bust point, just as you can see me do. Now on the center front, just as I have pointed, I'm going to go up by 0.5 inch. That's because in some cases, by the time you're done cutting your fabric and you're about to join, you notice that there is a bit of shortage. Some cases, by the time I'm done, I might not need it. I'll have to trim it off. So it's best that you have it to trim out than you don't even have to sew. So once that is done, I'm going to just use my curve ruler to make out the neckline. Next thing I'll be doing is on the chest line, I'm going to mark my round bust measurements divided by 4. I'm going to replace what we have in that dart, which is 1.5 inch, and I'm also going to be marking out my sewing allowance. Afterwards, I'm going to repeat the same process on the under bust line. I'll mark my under bust divided by 4, mark what I have in the dart, which is 2 inches, and I'm going to also mark my sewing allowance and repeat the same process on the waistline and on the full length of the blouse. Let me explain something. So on the full length of the blouse, I divided my hip measurements by 4, replaced the dart, and added my sewing allowance. Now you can see that I'm extending the line, right? That is because from the inspo, the side of the blouse was exaggerated. So I'm going to be adding 2.5 inch to the already marked out measurement, and then just connect all the points with my ruler. Now on the hip line, I'm going to go up by 3 inches and use my curve ruler to blend that back into the hip line. This is just so that by the time we're done sewing, everything is nicely relaxed and not having a pointy edge. So that is all for the drafting of the front pattern. I'm going to go ahead to cut out now. So for the back, I already went ahead to mark out my body measurements vertically. So as you can see there, I have the zipper allowance, I have my waistline and the full length. I also marked my shoulder measurements divided by 2. All the measurements for this back is going to be taken from the zipper allowance line. I also went ahead to mark the 1-inch shoulder slant just beneath that point, and also marked out my armhole depth. So like we did for the front, I'm going to be coming down by 6 inches so that the front and the back can be equal, and this is going to be the chest line. I'm going to roll a line on the marked points with my ruler, and afterwards I'm going to mark my round bust measurements divided by 4 plus my sewing allowance on this chest line, and then move on to my waist. I'm also going to mark my round waist measurements divided by 4. I'll be adding 1-inch dart allowance and then my sewing allowance. Do not forget, all your measurements should start from the zipper allowance line. Then on the full length line, I marked my round hip measurements divided by 4. I added my sewing allowance, and just like we did for the front, I added an extra 2.5 inch, and I'm going to use my ruler now to connect all these marked points. On the hip area, I'm going to go up again by 3 inches just as we did for the front and connect it back into the hip line. After that, what I'm going to do next is to mark my bust length, which is 10 inches, and afterwards roll a line on the marked points. I'm going to mark my nipple to nipple measurements divided by 2 on the bust line, mark same on the waistline and on the full length of the dress, and then proceed to roll a line across the marked points. Afterwards, on the waistline, I'm going to go in and out by 1/2 inch. Remember, we already kept 1-inch dart allowance, so we're going to share that on the waistline and then draw out our darts. Now the next thing to do is to eliminate zip bulge, and to do that I'm going to come in by 0.5 inch on the waistline at the zipper allowance area, and then connect it slightly to the hip line and to the chest line, and that's basically all for the back pattern. After cutting out the back pattern, I went ahead to cut the pattern through on fabric lining, and I also cut out the gum stay that I'm going to iron only on the lining piece. I'm not going to be putting it on the main fabric, just the lining piece. And mind you, when you're cutting on your fabric, be sure to add 1/2 inch all round aside the sides, because we've already put the side allowance. So just add 1/2 inch that we're going to use to join all round, both at the top and at the bottom. So we're going to begin sewing, and we're going to start with the front part of this blouse. As you can see here, I also went ahead to iron my wording on this. And if you do not know how to pad your bustier, I have a tutorial on my channel that is very detailed, so I would leave the link in the description box as well, so you can check that out and do this process. Next thing we're going to do is to place both sides to the center front at the right side. Make sure that they are both right sides facing each other, and go ahead to stitch down with 1/2 inch. Do same thing to the lining piece as well. So after sewing, you can see what we have here. I went ahead to notch and also iron. Make sure to give this a good press so your bustier can be standing like this. I mean, if it's not standing like this, you are wrong. All right, now the next thing we're going to do is place the lining to the main fabric, right sides facing each other, just as you can see me do, and we're going to stitch the top with 1/2 inch, also stitch the bottom with 1/2 inch, and then turn this to the right side. We're going to repeat the same thing for the back piece. We're going to place the lining on the main fabric, right sides facing each each other, and we're going to stitch the top part and the bottom with 1/2 inch as well as the zipper area. Now you're going to turn this out through the side, and then on the right side stitch down, like join the lining and the fabric together. So this is what we have here after I was done joining the lining to the main fabric. Now for the back piece, I went ahead to hold the dart after I was done. Now you just have to follow what you had drafted on your pattern. Okay, just measure what you have there and then hold your dart. So you just use this to know at what point your dart should start and stop and how many inches you should take. Remember, we kept 1 inch, so you're going to hold half to one side and half to the other. I also went ahead to close up the zipper area, and I would give this a good press. Next, I'm going to place the front and the back together, right sides facing each other, and we're going to sew the sides using the sewing allowance that we kept. So after that is done, I'm also going to attach my zipper, and this is what we have here. With all that's been done, I went ahead to also iron this. You can see that the blouse is already coming together. All we have to do now is attach our strap. So for the strap, I already cut out and I sewed it. Now I'll just give you the measurements. Unfold, make sure that you have 2 inches left after sewing, and for me, my strap measured about 19 inches. Now the next thing I'm going to do is mark 1.5 inch, because I added 1.5 inch on both sides of the strap, which is an extra allowance of 3 inches to the normal measurement of the strap that is supposed to go around my neckline. Now the next thing I'm going to do is on the bustier, I'm going to come down by 1 inch from the armhole area and then open up what we had sewn earlier, because that's where we're going to pass the strap through. So by the time I'm done, I'm going to open up about 2 inches wide and then fix the strap in through that point. You're going to see that exactly how I'm going to do it, and just watch closely so you understand what I'm doing. So I'm going to place the strap after the 1 inch that I came down with on the bustier top, and make sure that the 1.5 inch allowance that I said was added to the strap is where the strap is going to end, in between the sewing allowance of the bustier top. I hope that makes sense. So if you watch closely, you would understand what I'm doing. And placement of the strap also matters. So you can see the way I placed it so that I can get that alter neck effect by the time I put this on. Now that I'm done pinning the straps to the bustier top, I'm going to head over to my machine and sew up what we had opened earlier to put in the straps. I'm done with that, and this brings us to the end of the making of this top. It's such a cute outfit. You could see from the beginning of the video, it can be styled in various manners. So thank you guys for watching up until this point. If you found this video useful and helpful, please do not forget to like, leave me a comment if you have any question. I'll be more than happy to respond. Please share this video to your friends so they can slay as well, and most importantly, do not just watch. Please subscribe, engage, and if you do recreate this, do well to post it in my community so we can see. I could also rate you. Thank you guys so much for the support. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.